Bean made that beat.
Tell her stop playing with me. Let's talk about money, then please stay away from me. I see demons, somebody please pray for me. I recline in my chair and wait patiently. Tell her stop playing with me. Yeah. Tell her stop playing with me. Yeah.
Man, it feel good outside.
It's
Though.
breezy.
I'm just glad nobody ain't mowing right now.
For real, because we trying to do this recording outside, change the vibe up. You know what I'm saying? Out here with nature.
Backyard again.
Good out here. Got a nice little drink on the patio.
For real, it's finna be fall. It's finna switch over. Trees is just finna start getting naked. The trees finna hit that P Valley. The Last Dance.
Oh,
Mercedes.
man. P Valley, that's a damn good show.
What's P Valley?
Boy, that damn Mercedes in Mississippi, that Adam,
Nah, Miss
Uncle Clifford and Little Murder.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. The episode, how many was it? 8 episodes?
Yeah.
Episode 6 or 7 kind of took me too far. They was in the car playing around. I was like, I was like, this ain't it. This ain't.
Looking, but you ain't looking.
I ain't gonna lie. I got up and put the clothes in the washing machine, and I was like, I can't handle this. I mean, it ain't. I ain't against that, but I wasn't ready for it.
Have you ever seen P Valley?
I have not. That's all I was saying.
It's
What's
pretty good.
P Valley?
Man, it's about like these strippers.
Coochie Valley.
Yeah.
Pussy Valley.
Down at the paint.
I'd be into that.
What they say? What you say yesterday?
What about what?
We'll do that. It was something you said about being fake. What they were doing on there. It was some. It's one of the rules on the thing. I had to go back.
I don't remember. Ain't no telling, but I just know that episode when they was in that car. Joe damn near cool watching the show.
I was watching the bread. I
was
said,
like,
I just got one to use the restroom. Then you had to use the
Hey, me and my old lady, I said, I'm going to put the clothes in the washing machine.
Too much.
It was a little bit too much for me. I don't know if Lil Murder was gay or...
They say he got a family. I mean,
No, he really do. He got a whole family.
Well, that's a
You can be
hard
gay and have a
acting
family.
role.
Yeah, you can't think what all the people out here
John's got a kid. I mean,
Leon, remember Leon? What's his name?
Leon.
Leon.
Cynthia Bailey ex-husband.
Oh.
is he gay?
No.
It seemed, but
I don't know. All I know is that... I mean, what was that? What's old boy Jake Gyllenhaal?
Well, he played a gay person. Yeah. I mean, in Brokeback Mountain.
Shit, Holiday Heart.
Big Rain's big ass.
So y'all think Terry Crews is?
Oh yeah.
Like I said, he ain't been right since White Girls.
I'll be honest with you. I think 80% of actors are probably gay.
Man, this past week, not to cut you off, Lisa Ray made an explosive allegation that she was dating somebody back in her Players Club days, and that they was bisexual, and that people was hitting up her phone telling her that the person she was dating was really into men, and they started speculating, and they tried to put it on the great Jamie Foxx. Man, that's my boy, but they tried to write him off. Yeah, they did write him off. They said that she was dating Jamie Foxx around that time. That she made that statement.
You got to think about this. All actors are pretty much just the kids from drama club that became famous. Who in the fuck was in high school that didn't think all those dudes were gay?
Right.
So now they're suddenly not. You mean to tell me?
They think so wrong.
Man,
In that pickle suit. Looking like a bag of green.
Real serious ass.
Yeah. Everybody that's in ROTC became laws, and they tripping.
So
we didn't
some
have
of them did.
ROTC.
I know one person
Yeah, I
did.
No, we had like a school NRA group or some shit. My cracker at school had like a NRA.
Bria said it was like a big deal. Like they wasn't like an auto shop in some other class. It was like a.
We used to. Auto shop was pretty fucking fun though.
It was what's the
we
one?
were just sitting there and dip all day.
What was it?
That's all we did is just.
What's the one when they deal with the animals?
Ag.
Farmers.
Ag. There's that. There's like Future Farmers.
Yeah,
4,
Future
4F or 4H.
Bria got a little cousin that does it.
I know somebody who did that shit. A girl that did. Matter of fact, Tish did that shit, and that shit took her to Tarleton University. She actually popped.
You can make some money.
That shit, yeah. She
Bria
got
got a little cousin that like raised like pigs and stuff. And he making bank off.
Yeah,
of,
dude,
like,
I had a homegirl got involved with that.
Dude, the kids
Hold on, you said pigs?
No, the kids at school would sell like a fucking goat for like $15,000.
Yeah,
they get all that shit.
They get all
it
that
costs
money.
a lot of money to like raise them and shit, but like they're making a fuckload of money. Or the kids would just sit in there and make trailers and shit.
Yeah, they
Like,
got.
that's
I
all
think
they
he
do.
like number one. He like in first place and
Dude,
stuff, and he making all kind of money off
This
of.
one kid in
Off
ag
of pigs?
welded.
I promise you, they making money.
How long? How he cutting them?
This-
Like,
this one kid in metal shop one time welded all the fucking tools to the bench.
That's so damn
He's just
evil.
going around welding all the
That's
fucking
ghetto as
tools.
fuck.
The teacher was trying to lift a wrench off the table and it was just
That's messed up. But yeah, you make money off of like pigs stuff. You really do.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Hell yeah.
cows. Like if I had the land, if I own all the land back there, I would put me some cows out there.
You can make some money off a pig just
Yeah.
based off the fact.
I guess you know what? I guess I'm thinking of a slaughterhouse. You don't have to even do
My
all
uncle
that.
owns one.
Oh,
yeah,
you make some money.
You make money
doing
off
that
that
shit
shit.
too.
I'm
Yeah.
so interested
that's what they
in
sold them
knowing.
for.
I
Or
just
sold
want to
them.
see it. It's probably gross, but I really want to see how it
I don't wanna
goes
see it.
down.
I mean, it
pretty-
make a
just
lot of
go on
sense
YouTube and
because
look it up.
if you
But
sell
they
the
don't show
pig,
it all.
Yeah, they do.
They do. Maybe I'm looking up the wrong thing.
if you sell the
watched
pig, think about all the meat that come from pig: bologna, hot dog, bacon, ham.
Pork
You named
chops,
the
pork
trashiest
steak,
shit first.
neck
Bologna.
ribs.
No, I know.
This
Yeah,
just comes from
ribs.
somebody that I like
Pork
eating
chop?
steaks, but I'm trying to convert it to vegan. Like
Well, I'm trying to just stick with chicken because you know they
Chicken ain't-
beef
it's not-
don't digest with me, so I'm trying
chicken
to.
ain't good for you either.
I'm over here trying this keto.
Well,
No,
yeah, that-
beef-
I'm feeling
No.
like a bitch though. I'm trying this keto.
Yeah.
I'm
Nah,
trying it.
I'd try
like
it for a
chicken is
little
like the worst one. Like you know like how much fat
Chicken's
is
really bad for you.
Yeah, it really is. You know how much fat is
Man,
like
it's
an
crazy how
egg?
they lie to
Well,
us
fat's
all
not
the
really
time.
bad for you.
Yeah.
It's more just that they pump fucking chicken full of
Yeah,
so
they put
many
all this
I mean,
Like
that's why
HGH
everything's
and
so big
shit.
now, and it's just.
I'm
gross.
finna say, to be honest, I mean, what people fail to realize is that nothing is really bad for a specific group of people. Your body is different. Something that might be bad on my body might not be bad on y'all body.
Right.
Something that might be good for me might fuck you up.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, think about people who drink milk, and then you got some people who lactose intolerant. They drink milk, they shitting all night.
Yeah.
I drink some milk, I'm all right.
They might say you get strong bones.
Yeah. So, I mean,
Milk
I
ain't-
feel like
milk ain't safe for you either.
I feel like you
Nah, it
really
ain't.
need to just go to a nutritionist or a
Oh
fat doctor.
wow, DP, thanks a lot. Oh man,
Dude,
this
it
is-
is. There's like a certain percentage that it has
my
to
mom
be.
used to always get 2% milk.
Watch a documentary
old.
called What the Hell.
Man,
Yeah.
Watch it.
I ain't gonna lie, I can chime in on that. I watched something and they were saying that milk, it might not even be milk.
Well, a lot of it's pus because they sit
Yeah.
there and they just fucking have those suction cups on their titties for like months at a time and never take them off.
They just draining them.
They get chafed, and then as they get chafed, they get infected. And as it gets infected, there's pus built up. So like when they test milk, there's like a certain percentage of pus that's in your milk, but it can't go over a certain amount, or else they can't sell it.
Yep.
But the amount is like fucking 15%, which is a
Yeah.
lot of fucking pus to be
Yeah,
drinking.
I read that shit too.
15% of a glass that's still like a full shot of pus that you just down.
Man,
Man, watch that What the Hell, man. I'm trying to tell you.
watch everything
What
and
about
read
almond
everything
milk?
you can.
That's good for you. Like almond milk.
Almonds
Almond
don't
milk-
get infected.
Almond is a nut.
I wonder how they
Yeah,
get
they're
milk
not-
though.
It's natural.
They crush it until it become refined, until it become liquid.
They squeeze it out of the almond's titty.
Basically, just crush it down. Because I
Man,
mean, if
shut
you
up, fool.
if you chew gum long enough, it become dust. So with the almond, if
Yeah.
you crush it enough, it become liquid powder. Becomes a powder basically.
Man, it's just like, you know, they
Learn
try to say
something
like
every
you
day.
get protein from meat. Okay, how you think you getting it? It's like you cutting, if you stop eating meat, you cutting out the middleman. They getting protein because they eating grass all day.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you can just do the same thing, eating a salad. So why do you need meat to get protein?
But see,
It's
it go
not
back.
really
It go
the
back on
same.
what I said again. You gotta be careful because you got some people who got diverticulitis, like for instance, I can't eat salad.
What the hell?
Salad don't digest properly in my stomach.
I think you just need to start smoking crack.
I mean, that's why I ain't gonna never start smoking crack. I just didn't turn it into a lifestyle of just shit. Just man, drink a lot of water, man, eat a lot of vegetables. That's why I say I've been fucking with that keto because you can still eat cheese, but I think I don't know.
You just don't
ain't
eat.
no different.
No,
I
you
love
just,
cheese.
You're just not supposed to eat grains. Like
Yeah.
grains or sugars.
Yeah,
A carbohydrate. There's
Anything white,
carbohydrates or
pasta,
sugars.
bread.
Yeah, pasta, bread, sugar, like no candy. Basically, if you can't go find the shit out in the wild, don't eat it.
Yeah.
Like you can go find an apple and eat it.
I can't do it.
You can do it. I mean, you really
I
can
can't
do
do the
it.
apple. I don't like fruit.
I mean,
I would die if I
You
eat
were
it.
just eating a fucking bowl full of fruit.
That wasn't no fruit.
that was a fruit. That was a veggie
Oh,
salad.
that was veggie?
That was a
Tomatoes.
cucumber salad.
He eat shit like
the
that.
shit looked like mangoes and shit.
No, man, that was like cucumbers, tomatoes, onions.
Did y'all know that a watermelon was a vegetable and a fruit?
Yeah, just like a tomato.
I didn't know that.
Tomatoes.
A tomato is a fruit, but a watermelon is considered both.
Look, if it's
Okay.
sweet, it's a
I just
fruit.
didn't know that. I ain't know that shit.
I don't
Like,
fuck with all that shit. If it's sweet, it's a fruit. If it's not, it's a vegetable.
Just know I'm over here struggling because I want a steak so bad, but I'm gonna stay away from it.
You might as well start smoking crack if you struggle.
There's nothing.
You know, it just
It's
seems
not
like
unhealthy to eat steak.
No, it's
The more
not. If you like how I'm trying to do it is like I just cut it down to one day while I eat meat, one day, and then
That's
they say after a while like you be like nah I'm good on it. Like my grandma was trying to give me some chicken earlier, I was like I don't want it. I ain't want to eat it.
do chicken become disgusting to you? Like
Meat.
When I watch
that shit started tasting like paper.
Sometimes I look at me the whole
I
different
really
way and
like
I be like,
I had like a
You
little
eat baked chicken for 5 days, the 6th day, that shit started tasting like paper.
Yeah.
Paper with seasoning on it. That shit
Yep.
get nasty.
ooh, and it just make
Yeah,
you
it really
think you're
does.
actually eating a chicken leg.
like I seen Tabitha Brown.
See, I don't even eat chicken legs because it got that slime on it. When you bite it,
She made some vegan shrimp the other day.
shout out to Tabitha Brown.
That's a sweet woman right there.
She made some
Okay.
motherfucking oatmeal that changed my life.
Tabitha Brown, yeah, like she's a vegan.
And
she has a
then,
kid
but you know what I
called
like about Tabitha? What I like about Tabitha is just the way how she present herself.
Yeah.
It ain't just that she a vegan. Like she's not trying to tell you, oh, you gotta be a vegan. She tell you straight up, do whatever you like. But
Yeah, that's my business.
This is my business. And she
That's
keep
my
it.
that my business.
That's my business. Yeah, for real.
I live for her videos. Like I'll be watching her videos in the middle of the night.
Yeah, you put me on game with her. I've been watching her for the past
I
week.
need to watch it again.
She
Yeah,
good.
yeah, she on Instagram.
Yeah. She
She
good.
she was on a couple of shows, but when she did that vegan stuff because she got her kids eating her husband, and it just blew up.
I've been watching her on Twitter. Well, I followed her on Twitter.
I follow her on Twitter, but I watch her Instagram.
I need to say I ain't think about the Instagram. I ain't think about
On
it.
Instagram, she got everything on there, and she stay in California. She's
Yeah.
from I think she's from
Now,
North
I don't know if
Carolina.
y'all hip to this, but I don't know if y'all seen. They talking about it might be an electromagnetic pulse that's supposed to be hitting in December.
Wait, what?
December 21st.
Break that down.
An electromagnetic pulse. They talking about
They
it's
said the
supposed
world's
to
gonna
be.
end in
Nah,
2012.
they talking about something about like
I still think
the solar system or something. Supposed to do some weird shit. And it's supposed to send out some kind of beam, and it's supposed to disrupt all electronics.
you know,
If
how
you
many
notice,
times-
that's why NLE Chopper and a lot of these people. It's a girl called Hood Hill on Twitter. Like they've been advocating, buying generators and planting their own stuff, their own gardens and shit, because they saying that they're not saying it's gonna happen, but they saying it's a chance that it could happen. It's gonna
Eastman just
basically
bought
fuck up
110
all
generators 2 weeks ago.
electricity all over the world. Like it's gonna make like certain parts is gonna be blacked out. Like you ain't gonna be able to use shit like how you supposed to.
Good.
I'm not saying the shit true. I'm just saying that's what I saw, and I'm just being aware.
I hope.
Because to be aware is to be alive.
I hope it happens.
I ain't trying, man, nigga, that air conditioner is everything.
Yeah, but if it happens in
Well, it's
December,
gonna be cold.
yeah, if it happens in December, that's
Hey,
perfect.
It was,
I don't care.
then
I
when
don't
June
care
hit, we
if,
still
I
ain't
don't
got no
care if
light.
it's December. Then it's
Figure it out.
sub-zeros on my porch. If that AC going out, it's getting fixed.
But I'm looking at the honesty and the ignorant, how ignorant people is. People panic, bro. Like
We
these
are in
motherfuckers-
Texas. It will get hot.
Think
Out of
about how
nowhere.
these motherfuckers acting when they thought. They start acting crazy about toilet paper. Now, if you tell ain't gonna be no lights, these motherfuckers gonna really start acting
Toilet
stupid.
paper
Yep.
just finally getting back to its normal
Yeah,
rate.
you just now start being about Lysol again. Now you start telling some people the lights going out. These motherfuckers gonna be buying all the candles, all the goddamn little torch lighters. We ain't gonna be able to get Bics.
I might go buy-
It's gonna be something
I might
random
go
as
buy a
fuck.
generator.
Well, I'm
nigga.
finna go buy some right
You
there.
see what I'm saying?
See,
buy
but that's
It's gonna be
the
some
shit.
random shit that's gonna be sold out
No.
We so
because people
country.
stupid.
No, it's those same fucking. It's all those companies that make money off of it are the ones that fuel all that fucking fear of it. Like Y2K, that shit.
Yeah,
nothing
motherfuckers went
fucking
crazy on
happened.
Water
Y2K.
People went
King
crazy,
do this.
and nothing fucking.
I don't know. No, they ain't went crazy in 2012. Don't forget that. Them motherfuckers got
yeah,
scared.
that thought the
then.
world was gonna really end. I
Cause they
was
moved
sitting
to
home high.
No, because of the it's based on like the Mayan calendar. But then they decided not to tell people that there was like a whole other calendar where it went from 2012 to 2013 to 2014. It's because people are fucking dumb.
Yeah, and that's right now. Well, what I'm basically saying is
Just
to
watch the
educate yourself.
Simpsons. It'll tell us what's
Simpsons
gonna
does
happen
everything
next.
because coronavirus is on there and
Donald Trump was on there.
getting killed.
Don T,
We just
whatever you want to call him.
Donatello.
Dunny. I call him Dunny.
But you know
Donald
what?
Dump, whatever.
I ain't let me tell you why. And I go back to, I know I be talking shit, talking about I fuck with Trump, but I look at the honesty in Trump. Y'all motherfuckers voted for Trump. Like, y'all let him win. If you really didn't want Trump, why y'all didn't go out there and vote? You had a chance to vote.
Yep.
Y'all was talking about, I don't want Hillary. I don't want Hillary.
I seen what somebody said, and it
I
made
think
so
he
much.
gonna
It
win
made
again.
perfect sense.
Yeah, I hope he win again.
I seen what somebody said. They said some other day. It was like,
Shit.
they said, Donald Trump, like, people voted for him because of what he hates.
Yep.
He's racist, and he ain't did nothing for these people that support him.
He not.
Yeah, they
He not.
ain't did.
Trump,
he
let me
ain't
tell
did
you something.
nothing.
Trump is not about. Trump ain't about race. Trump is about money. and about what benefits him. Trump took a group of ignorant white people and used that against himself to fuel himself. He seen that people was basically a group of people, a large group of people who wasn't voting at all. There was a demographic of people, a group of people, middle America. He was able to get into their head and tell them, basically this and that, and they was like, this. Voted for the man, he won, and he just pushing the initiative of bullshit. That's why I don't like Trump, because he pushed the initiative. He, instead of standing up and saying, look, y'all got me to win, he really could use that shit and be like, now I'm in here and let me get these other people, let me get black people, let me get Mexican people. But you still riding on the bullshit that got you there. That's why I don't fuck with Trump. But I damn sure don't fuck with Biden.
He said he want to go for term 3.
Yeah, he said, he did.
That he might get it. I don't know.
If they let him get term 3 and they didn't let Obama get term 3, I can't fuck with it.
It's illegal to have a term 3.
Yeah.
It's a lot of things that's illegal.
No, back in the day, presidents didn't have 2 terms back in the day.
Do it.
You can't do it. That's a law.
I mean, they'll go back and change the...
They will. I agree.
Well, it's not really something that can be changed. Like, that's not really how that works. I mean,
would y'all be surprised if it did?
Nope.
Yeah, because it can't happen. I mean,
I ain't surprised if they pulled something.
The 2-term limit wasn't set until 1949.
See how it got changed?
It was after FDR. Because they did 2 terms.
Again.
Well, no, I mean, that's not really how, like, an amendment process. Like, you have to have an amendment process, because that's what it was. It was an amendment that was made into the Constitution that said that a president can only have a 2-term limit because FDR had a 4-term limit. And people were like, FDR went 4 terms and then died. People were like, yeah, we shouldn't do that. But before then, the 2-term thing was like a sign of like respect more than anything to like, because George Washington only did 2 terms and then he stepped down because he was like, if I just keep going, then how the fuck am I not a king? Like, isn't this the whole shit that we were trying to like avoid, was having a king? But if I'm president for 40 years, that's no goddamn different than a king. So he did 2 terms, left, and then every president after that, after 2 terms, left until FDR.
Because one of them went for a while.
FDR.
Yeah, he went for a while.
FDR was the only president that's had more than 2 terms, technically. I mean, you can have 2, then not have a term, and then come back. Because Grover Cleveland, I think, did that. Gotcha. Yeah. Grover Cleveland did 2 terms, left, and then came back.
I seen they were trying. They was talking about that Michelle Obama should run for president.
She's a fucking idiot too.
Damn.
God damn.
Michelle Obama's a fucking moron.
Man, I disagree on that.
Damn, I can't ride with y'all now. But like,
no, Michelle.
I mean, I will say this: she did fuck up the school lunch program.
She sure did.
She got kids out here
I hate
eating
her
that
for that.
bullshit.
Hadn't eaten baked fries.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
Baked Cheetos and shit.
Back
Yeah,
to
I can't
broccoli and
tell
shit.
the damn difference in that shit.
Yeah, you can.
It ain't got no crunch.
Sure. Just salt and fries, just soggy.
It just like it's gonna be the same if it came out there grease and it's been sitting there for 10 minutes till you get to the lunch. Hey, it's
Them
gonna
fries-
have
My fries a little crunchy.
Michelle Obama had them fries tasting like Chick-fil-A fries and sat in the bag all day.
Yep.
That's what them
Well,
fries tasted like.
They start tasting like.
They
Well, it was
flimsy.
flimsy.
Them fries was soft,
Yeah.
and it had
I didn't know they
aftertaste.
really fried the food anyway. I thought they put it in the oven.
No,
You talking about Chick-fil-A? They use that
No, I'm
Jesus
talking about
oil.
in school.
You said they use that what?
Jesus oil. Hey, it's some other type of oil down there at
I don't know
Chick-fil-A.
what it. No, they use peanut oil. That's what they
Jesus.
Yeah. They probably some
The
peanut
blood
oil.
of Christ.
I found it out later on. That, yeah,
They shit is closed on Sunday.
Then they
'Cause
said
they
they gonna open it
refugees.
back up for the black folks because of the Black Lives, the stuff that's going on.
They better not do that bullshit. Let me tell you something. This Black Lives Matter should be running out. I'm all about the black people, but they be running out.
I seen when somebody said, what is it, NAACP? That shit is not for black people.
Them niggas be tripping. Them niggas is some coons.
That shit is not for us.
Yeah, the NAACP.
That shit was made by, they said it was made by some Jews. That shit,
Nah, it was made by W.B. Du Bois.
oh, it was? Okay.
But W. Du Bois, he was one of them type of niggas that look down on you if you was sagging.
Well,
Like if he was sagging, W. Du Bois wasn't fucking
So
with
he
you.
was acting like
Well,
somebody.
there wasn't really
I
sagging
seen somebody
then.
sit on
He wasn't
Twitter.
sagging, but I'm just
But yeah,
saying,
he
if you
would've
put,
been that type
he
of
would been the
person.
type of person that where he would be against rap music. He would have something to say about black people driving nice cars. He would just one of them type. He probably was for segregation. I hate to say it.
I think W.B. Du Bois was more just like he was trying to get like education made available for like all black people who weren't able to have it. But yeah, I mean, if rap music was around then, he would have been super anti-rap music. Like he'd have been he would have had no part of that shit.
Yes, I'm saying he was for black people, but he was really kind of creating a lot of problematic issues within black people.
Well, he was just trying to bring like intelligence. And
Which ain't nothing wrong with that, but-
yeah, but I mean, I think
It's about how you go about
Well,
it.
I think like the idea that like rap doesn't have a negative impact is kind of ridiculous. I mean, I love rap, and like that's one of my favorite genres of music. But to think it doesn't have some kind of negative impact is a little ridiculous.
I
'Cause
mean,
it
every
really
music
does.
every
But that's
music
what I
has
mean.
impact. I
Yeah.
mean,
But the idea that like anybody who's like says like, you know, hey, maybe we should like pump the brakes on this shit is ultimately like a horrible person. I don't think so, because I can say the same shit about heavy metal. I don't blame anybody that makes heavy metal or anybody that makes rap, but the idea that like it's only positive, like rap music is only creates a positive outcome.
yeah, if you listen to Will Smith.
only, no, but that's what I'm saying.
I just
I mean,
did.
Will Smith is. I mean,
He damn near on Christian rap.
yeah, but that's what I mean. Like heavy metal
Get
and
jiggy
rap
with it.
go through the same. Like heavy metal and rap have gone through the same shit, where they get blamed for the artists get blamed for everything. But it's like, yeah, I mean, those genres of music do create like.
Because people don't want to take accountability for their fuck ups.
Well, it sounded like I seen somebody said on Twitter that said the more degrees a black person have, the more annoying they are. And
Yeah.
that's what it sound like he was.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna say this. I ain't gonna necessarily say degrees. The more big words a nigga know, the more annoying they get. Because T.I. get to get on my nerves sometimes. He get to spitting out all that bullshit, and I be like, come
You
on,
need to get a
T.I.
damn haircut. That's what you need to get.
Just Tip, come on. Now, I get it, but come on, Tip. Let him make it look. Stall him out. Stall him out, Tip. That's why we want to say, damn, man. Like, you ain't got to push the initiative on everything. People just got to learn the time and place to talk.
Yeah.
That's the issue I'm starting to see. People talking when they just out here just talking. And I ain't saying that we should censor people talking, but you should have enough common sense to know when to censor yourself. To know that, look, I don't know nothing about this.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna speak on this because I
Hey,
don't know nothing about it. So what I look like speaking on, that's why I hate when people be like getting on like famous people case because they don't speak out on shit. Why would you? Now if he spoke out and said some shit you didn't like, you be trying to counsel. But if you just mind your business and just be like, look, I'm gonna stay in my lane, y'all mad about that. So it's like a big.
I'm hard on minding your business, man. Some stuff you just keep your mouth shut and let it play out.
I don't really understand why people give a fuck what a celebrity thinks about like a fucking political or like social issue. Like
For real.
most celebrities are fucking dumb. Like, you think I'm gonna sit around and listen to like Leonardo DiCaprio tell me how to like save the fucking planet? Like,
I'm not listening.
That dude has a goddamn mansion and flies a private jet everywhere. He doesn't give a fuck about the environment. You think I'm gonna care because Leonardo DiCaprio says I should, you know, cut my fucking 6-pack plastic so it doesn't wrap around a fucking turtle's mouth? Fuck turtles and fuck him. Like, I'm not worried about that shit. Like, just, man, I'm eating fucking peanut butter toast. I don't have time to worry about like whether I'm saving some
You ain't
fucking
happy about
animal.
the turtles, man?
I don't give two shits about fucking turtles.
You don't like turtles?
I mean, not really. They don't do shit for anybody. They're slow, and I mean, we're stalling evolution
Y'all
because
wanna know
those
a
things
funny-
should have been
I just
taken
had a
out
funny thought.
millions of years ago.
Think about somebody threw a turtle at a nigga head.
Oh, that's gonna count.
Yeah, it's gonna hurt like a mother.
That's gonna
That
count.
nigga just threw a turtle just across the road.
And boy,
Yeah, like Mario.
you got to be pretty
Yeah.
goddamn evil to throw a turtle at somebody.
Boy, you full of shit. You throw a turtle at a
You ignorant if you do
Boy,
that.
you crazy. You
You
threw
throw a turtle at
that nigga?
somebody, like, if you tell me a story where I threw a turtle, I'm gonna stop right there.
I'm just gonna look at you. I ain't saying shit else. I'm just gonna be looking. Like, this nigga's off the chain.
I mean, if you throw any animal, like a live animal at someone, there's no animal someone could throw at me that I'd be happy about.
Like, what somebody just threw like a puppy at you, you gonna be like, what
I'd
the
be like,
fuck?
why the fuck did you just throw a puppy at me? I mean, I'd be pretty pissed because I don't fuck with puppies either. So I'd be like,
Man, don't throw shit at me. They're just gonna be
Yeah, I mean, really.
Don't throw
Yeah.
nothing at me.
Yeah.
Because anything that hit you with the right force gonna hurt.
Oh, yeah.
In the right area. Think about getting hit in the head with
Yeah.
a pickle. Like a pickle.
Yeah,
Pickle.
it-
Somebody just throw that bitch across.
Yeah.
You throw it right, it's gonna hurt.
That motherfucker gonna hurt.
Yeah.
Like,
Somebody hit you with a 90-mile-per-hour fucking screwdriver, like right
no.
I know what
With
you
a
finna say. I know exactly what you
screwball. Yeah.
What's
So,
somebody
without saying any names, somebody got hit in the head with a little screw.
Oh
with an
yeah.
alley wrench? With an alley wrench.
Yeah.
That fool threw an alley wrench clean across the store and hit somebody in the head.
And they started crying. nigga stopped. He was in the hitting people in the head
I
with
sat there and
bug
watched.
boats and shit.
Man, I seen him flying across the store. I said, that's when his plane. I said, damn. He was throwing stuff way over there just cause he could do it.
And you
he-
can't lie, it's always funny when you see somebody get hit in the head.
Oh yeah.
like I seen him flying across the store, just boom. I said,
Damn.
yeah.
I seen somebody get hit in the head with a grape one time. I had somebody, I was in Walmart with somebody that threw a motherfucking grape across the store. That bitch, I said, damn.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That would hurt.
Yeah, it do hurt. Shit, you can think about dodgeball. You get hit with that dodgeball right there. Shit
That
hurt.
sound, that ding, that fucking
Man, I remember I hit
sound.
somebody here with a dodgeball. Feel great. She cried like a bitch, bro. I ain't gonna lie. She cried. Yeah, cause dodgeball was intense, nigga. We trying to win, nigga. Fuck that.
We trying to make every
Trying
hit
to win.
count.
Yeah.
Y'all used to play Foursquare?
Oh yeah.
That's a cherry bomb. The
Cherry
fuck
bomb,
out
yeah.
somebody.
Or get hit, throw it right at their feet.
Yep.
Whatever that was called. There was some name for that too.
I forgot what it was, but cherry bomb was when you just slang that thing and ding, hit him up the head.
Yeah, I used to play motherfucking me Foursquare. I was a fool in that Foursquare.
You want to know
Bramlett.
how unathletic I was as a kid? I fucking broke my hand playing tetherball. Whenever I was in 6th grade, I missed the ball and hit the post like as hard as I fucking could, like right there with the side of my fist.
With a
I never could figure out what the fuck tetherball was.
you got to make the ball spin around. But I seen somebody one time, they was standing too close to the pole, and that sucker went around their neck.
That's a yeah.
I done seen that happen. They threw it, and they was standing in the right spot, and they just wrapped their ass around that damn pole, and they damn near died.
That's.
I was a kid.
Rest in peace.
They damn near did.
Yeah, I don't. I was pretty unathletic.
I didn't care for sports.
I liked like watching sports, but I just sucked at them. I mean,
I didn't care. I played basketball as a kid. But like when I got to like middle school, high school, I was like,
yeah. I mean,
I want the money. I ain't care for sports. I was like, if I played sports, okay, I can't get a car because that's gonna take up your time, make some money, get you a car.
Man, I played sports until my daddy yelled at me one time. And I was like, I ain't playing sports no more because this nigga be yelling. I was like, this nigga be yelling, bro, and I'm not getting yelled at.
Yeah.
And I'm not knocking nobody that did it, but it just wasn't for me. That's not something I wanted to do.
Sports cool in a bitch, though. I mean, that shit intense. Like, I used to love playing football. But it got to the point where I couldn't stay out of trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get in trouble, you can't play
Yeah, it got to where, like, every year they was like, well, if you don't get in trouble for this semester, you can play next year. Some bullshit happened, can't play next year. Same story. Then finally, it was like 10th grade, can't play. I'm like, fuck it. I ain't gonna even try to play no more.
I just knew I wasn't gonna do shit with it, so like, why keep? Like, what was I gonna be in the fucking NFL?
My thing is like,
I'm slow as shit.
These kids play football 4 years in school.
Yeah.
Or if you keep playing, or you'll get a scholarship to this school, and you can go to the NFL. And one in 10,000 kids maybe make it to the NFL.
I looked up the numbers one time, and it was like the craziest shit. If you go from high school football players down to college, like Division I college, down to the NFL, it's like 1 in like 17,000 or 70,000, some crazy number.
Yeah, it's only like one of them. They're the only ones that gonna make it to the NFL. Yeah. But like, I look like I sell these kids a dream for 4 years, and then when they graduate, what the fuck else is for them to do?
And they're like half retarded by the time they graduate because they didn't do shit in school because it was all about football.
Yeah.
By the time they go to college, they can barely write their fucking name. And then what happens when they tear their ACL second year in college? If they're one of the lucky ones that made it to like a Division I school. They got some bullshit degree in like business marketing, which like you can't do shit with. Like,
prime example, look at Q in love and basketball. He dropped out of college and went to the Lakers and tore something in his leg. He couldn't play no more. Yeah. Should have took your ass to school.
Yeah.
I mean, but you know what? That fall on the education system. The education system got to get a little bit better because it got to be. They need to, and it comes from just not even just sports. It comes from like they don't teach you nothing about credit in school, and like that's one of the most important. They don't teach you how to. They don't teach you nothing about ownership. I feel like it need to be a class on how to buy a house, how to properly rent out properties. It needs to be a class on real estate in high school, so if you want to go that route, because you don't need college to do real estate, so it definitely should be a class in high school, real estate development, something like that.
Taxes.
I mean, it's so much entrepreneurship classes. I mean, it's just other shit that you need to prepare people for in life, because you can go to school and have a badass job, and then that company you work for fall under, and you stuck with all this student debt. You really ain't making the money you supposed to get, because half the money you giving back to student debt. You owe 30,000. I know people out here owe 4. I was talking to a doctor not too long ago. This motherfucker was saying that he got to pay. He gonna be paying student debt for 15 years.
Yeah.
And he was like, man, now that I think about it, I love being a doctor. He was like, luckily I wanted to do this in my heart. I want to be a doctor based off that's what I want to do. I want to help people, because if I didn't have that in me to nurture and want to help people, I would be fucked, because I'm paying all this money back. And now I gotta be a doctor so I can even afford to pay half of this back. And I'm stuck doing it for 10 years. Yeah. And he 30, because think about it, it takes you forever to become a doctor. Yeah. So you basically, your foot is in the hole till you're 40.
I know somebody that's a nurse practitioner, and they were paying like $500 a month.
Yeah.
In student loans.
And try to default on that shit if you want to. They start garnishing your wages.
Yep. And then they found out that only $50 was going towards the damn loan.
Yeah, interest and shit.
Yeah. And it's like the one thing that you can file for bankruptcy for, and it doesn't go away.
Yeah.
Like anything else will go away whenever you file for bankruptcy, but not your fucking student loans. Those things will stay with you.
And I mean, they need to
teach. All the time, I feel like college is a scam. Like
it became a scam.
Yeah.
It used to not be. Like if you look back at like ask people who went to college in like the 70s up till like the early 80s.
Yeah, it was cheap.
But it was also like
$1,000
for a semester.
And they weren't. But like the schools didn't have like a lot of extra stuff. Like they would have a football team. In some schools, like especially like in the South, a lot of money would go to that. But that was about it. Like, and you couldn't get a bullshit degree back then.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of like the reasons why college is so fucking expensive is because I can go to UT and get a degree in fucking Greek mythology. Like, what the fuck am I gonna do with that? Become a Greek mythologist?
Tell people about Zeus?
Yeah, like
that ain't gonna serve.
But you can get a full 4-year bachelor's in Greek mythology.
That's crazy.
Just to be able to teach other people Greek mythology, because that's about the only damn thing you can get a career with is to become a teacher with it. But like I feel like if you get a degree in a certain thing, like engineering, medicine, architecture, things like that, if you're not able to find a job within 4 years, you should have all your loans taken off, like gone, because you did your part. And you got a degree in something that, that's beneficial and that's easy to get a job. But if you somehow aren't able to get one, they should take away all your student debt. But if you get some degree in like ancient Chinese writing and you 6 years later are like, I can't fucking find a job. Tough shit, pay it back.
You should seen that coming.
Like, yeah.
I mean, I got an associate's degree in applied science and process technology. All I owe is what, $3,500.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy how like for me to go a semester I did at Kilgore, just one semester was like damn near $10,000. Thank God
God damn.
That stuff is high. Like you put like the books and all that stuff in there.
Yeah.
Books and classes, that stuff gets expensive. And then don't let it. You don't stay in the city because they charge you out of out of county or out of something.
Out of state fees. You gotta be
out
like
of state if you're. Not for like junior colleges, they don't do out of state.
It's some kind of.
They'll charge you more if you're out of the city.
Out of the city where they got school at, they charge you more.
Well, out of state is the biggest scam ever. Yeah. The fact that like, as I applied for UCLA, like out of high school, and whenever I was looking into it, like to be able to not pay out of state tuition, I would have had to live there for like I think 3 or 4 years, something like that. But like if I wanted to just go straight from here to UCLA. If I, it would have been like $45,000 a year to go to UCLA. But if you lived in California, it's like $31,000.
Yeah.
So, or no, it was like $55,000 a year. So it was like an extra $20,000 a year just because I didn't live in California.
Yeah, they charge you.
What the fuck difference does that make?
Thank God my dad was in the Army and they had a GI Bill and they paid for this stuff. Well, they have financial aid that take care of it, but you got to be in a certain tax bracket to get that.
Which I think that they should have a class for that. People who want to go to the military, they should really prepare you for the military. Like, if you want to do all ROTC ain't enough. That ain't enough to prepare nobody for. But that ain't the military.
ROTC is like pageantry shit.
Yeah.
Like that's not like
you end up flipping a gun.
Camp.
They end up walking around
flipping a rifle.
Yeah,
with
when the fuck are you gonna do that in
every Thursday
desert
and thinking?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, I just feel like it started with the school system. I mean, the school system is really fucked up when you really just. Now that I'm old and I sit back and look at it, I be like,
just think about the shit they taught in school, like what was it, Pythagorean theorem?
Yeah.
Where did I have not used that damn equation since I left school.
I bet you remember it though, don't you? Like what it is?
Somewhat.
I see, like that
A,
shit.
B, and C.
A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Like I still remember that shit, but I've never used it for anything. Like never one fucking time.
Now that I sit back and look at it, I don't feel like I don't feel like anything in school benefits me.
Not in
as
real
of
life.
today.
I think history and English benefited me.
I think history would have benefited me if they taught real history because you teach that you do Texas history every goddamn 2 years in school. Think about it. You do Texas history in 6th grade, do U.S. history in 7th grade, you get to high school, you do this shit again. U.S. history, government, all that. I think the only classes I probably learned some shit in was economics.
Yeah.
I learned a lot in economics.
I think that's now that I look back at it, I only learned some shit in economics, biology. I ain't learned shit in language arts because I can't type and I can't spell.
I think I learned. I probably learned the most in like history and English.
Yeah.
As far as
It
like
was
what will
history
actually
for me.
benefit you, it depends. But then a lot of that has to do with like if you have teachers that are willing to like
That's
kinda
what I'm
go
gonna say.
above. Because a lot of history teachers are just fucking football coaches. Like unless you're in like advanced placement, like you don't even really have a history teacher. Like in our school, every history teacher that was for regular history, not advanced placement, was a football coach. They don't know shit about history. They're like giving you like a fucking packet to do during class and like
They're just going by
like
book.
match the dates to the person. Like it's all shit. Like you don't learn anything from that. But like I did like advanced placement, so we would like have discussions about history, and like you couldn't get in trouble for shit you said. So like it was like kind of like a college environment. But like that's what it should have been for regular history too. Like they're not dumb because they're in regular history or can't handle. Like we had conversations like, I mean, not in every history. Like we definitely had some that were bullshit, but we had like discussions about like slavery and the Holocaust in like 8th grade history, and they were like open discussions about it. And I think like I learned a lot from that shit because I didn't have people to talk to about like the Holocaust and shit like that. And then English was the same way. Like we had discussions about like, you know.
I don't think I remember about the Holocaust, goddamn Anne Frank.
That's all I know. I just know
that's not good.
That's all I remember. That's all I remember. She was in the
like a
attic.
little 14, 15-year-old girl that got killed.
She was in the attic, and I think she was blind.
She wasn't
Deal.
blind. That's Helen Keller.
Oh.
Those are two different fucking
I don't even know
people.
her.
See, look, that goes.
God.
Education system is fucked.
Yeah. God damn. Yeah, like. Yeah, I don't know. There's something like.
School system just fails you.
It does. And and even if you have like one of those like good history classes, you don't really learn like real history.
Nah, everything.
When you get out, now that I'm older, like I say, all the history that I realized we taught was some bullshit.
Yeah, like they didn't tell that Martin Luther King really got smothered in the hospital. They don't. They just say he got shot and killed. That was it.
Yeah, they don't tell you.
I'm gonna tell you the whole story.
Look, I'll tell you, we learned about African American history for 1 month a year.
February.
And we learned about.
And they tell you that same goddamn
we
slave.
learned about.
You probably gonna watch Glory.
No, we didn't. No, we weren't even using that much time. It was look, George Washington Carver made peanut butter. Rosa Parks wouldn't get out of a bus seat. Yeah. Martin Luther King was good. Malcolm X was bad, and like Booker T. Washington did some shit, and then he became a wrestler. Like that's about all we fucking learned about was like we learned about 5 people. And Frederick Douglass.
Sojourner Truth. Might learn about.
We did not learn about. I learned about Sojourner Truth, well, on my own. But like, the first time I learned about it in school was college. Yeah. Actually, the first time I learned about like anything legitimate about African American history was like my sophomore year in college. Like I didn't learn shit about African American history in school, in like Jackie Robinson. Like that's like the like people that would be on stamps. That's the shit that we like learned about.
Yeah.
So then you wonder why. Yeah, and Harriet Tubman. We learned about Harriet Tubman and
They
can find some pretty interesting pictures of her and put them in memes.
She was a little rough.
I seen a picture that said what I look like money, and they had Harriet Tubman with her hands crossed.
I seen something interesting about slaves. They were saying that the braid patterns, braids actually, like the hairstyle braids was actually what slaves used to hide like trails and patterns, like how they used to do the Underground Railroad.
Oh, really?
That was about braids. That's actually was basically like a guide, like a map.
Yeah.
Like they would do braids in certain ways to signal how to escape, like certain plantations and shit.
Huh.
I seen what they said,
and I learned that shit like recently.
Yeah.
They said,
I've never.
Somebody said why all the hurricanes. Not laughing. They said this. They said why all the hurricanes come from the Atlantic Ocean. They said for all them damn slaves.
God damn it.
Because of white folks.
I said all them damn slaves.
Go ahead and just say it.
They said all them damn slaves that y'all killed.
YT people. Shout out to my YT brothers.
If y'all, all them damn slaves y'all took from Africa and brought over here, that's why all them damn hurricanes come from that way.
Said them niggas hollering. I seen this shit.
That's what they said.
I seen that shit.
That's the niggas in the house. Just think about every hurricane that came through. The potential was a black person. Hurricane Katrina. Have you ever seen a white person named Katrina?
No, it's more of a Hispanic name.
Yeah, they used to be.
They used to be Hispanic or black, usually.
Yeah.
It's like hurricane. What was the one that?
I know there was Hurricane Ike. That's about as
yeah.
white as it fucking gets, other than Ike Turner.
Yeah,
I always associate an old black man, but
I don't know. I mean, Dwight Eisenhower. He was Ike, and I mean Ike. I think is short for Dwight, and Dwight is about as that's a white fucking name. It's literally called Dwight.
I don't know nobody black named Dwight.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. But Ike
and I remember back in the day, they used to be like,
Dwight
you be like, what's the name of your mouth? They be like, Dwight around your mouth. They used to say that shit. And so I don't know if I necessarily want to fuck with that Dwight.
Yeah.
So how do y'all feel about this Cardi B divorcing Offset?
Jesus.
I mean, that's their business. That's grown folks' business.
Right.
If you want to be honest, now the honesty, that's grown folks' business.
Yeah.
Now, if we want to get an entertainment answer, if you want me to entertain y'all,
Well, that's the point. Yeah.
she ain't black. For one, she not black. Let's throw that out there.
Yeah, because Cardi B is Latino, basically.
Dominican or whatever.
Well, it was some Dominican one of them.
Something. She ain't no nigga.
Does it bother you if people that are Hispanic say the N-word?
To a certain extent.
Like, when is it okay or not okay?
It's never okay.
But that's what I mean. Like, so like Cardi B.
Does it bother me that she said it? Yeah.
But why doesn't she? You know what I mean? Like I mean, I'm
but you
sounding ignorant, but I'm just saying, like, why? Like, because in my mind, I think, like, if you're not black, you shouldn't say it. Like, and there's no, like, ifs, ands, or buts.
Yeah.
We're in a pick-me culture. People pick and choose what they want to speak on, because I can remember growing up, it was a white dude I grew up with. This motherfucker used to drop nigga all the time. But people looked at it like, since we was all niggas, and he was the only white person with us, and he had been around us since day one, it was all right for him to say nigga. Nobody really ever called him out on it. Like, nobody ever called him out. They were like, oh, he more black than some of y'all. And I was just like, in my head, I used to be like, this motherfucker not black.
Yeah, you can't really be more, like, if you're white, you can't be more black than any black person.
Exactly. And that's why I say it's a pick-me culture.
Like,
people not speaking on that. We're not speaking on the whole we're not speaking on the whole how we pick and choose what we want to fuss about, and pick and choose who we want to go against the grain on, and pick and choose who we want to call right and wrong. And a lot of that shit is going on these days. Yeah. Like, people, like, for instance, DP could be selling weed, and he's fucking up the community. Yeah. I started selling weed, they like, oh, he a real nigga. He this nigga.
Yeah.
Why did y'all let him
going on like that?
Yeah, why did y'all say to get on DP ass about it, but then praise the other man for doing it?
That goes on a lot nowadays.
That goes on a lot. That goes on a lot in my city. Like, people pick and choose what they want to speak on, and who they want to give a hero, and who they want to make a villain. Yep. And that's what society is turning into. It ain't even just the city; it's the society, which I think reflects on the city. But a lot of people have this hero villain type mindset. Mm-hmm. Like, they want to make somebody a good guy and somebody a bad guy. For instance, Trump, back on Trump. They just want to have a bad guy, so they putting all this. And I'm not taking up with Trump. Trump is full of shit. I know I be talking shit, saying I fuck with Trump. But at the same time, if you want to be really honest about it, they doing a pick me society. They doing some pick me type shit. Yeah. Like, they going against the grain on him and trying to make somebody a hero.
Yeah.
That's how they doing that Biden and Trump. Watch this next election. This next election is gonna be some good versus evil type shit.
Yeah.
Rather than who's right and who's wrong. Biden ain't no better than Trump. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. I really read on the nigga. The nigga ain't no better.
I mean, he's the not as outspoken version. You know what I mean? Like, you're not gonna get like a lot of audio clips of him saying fucked up shit.
Yeah.
But you can go back and look at his record and find a lot of shit where he did, which is way worse. Like, saying fucked up shit, even though it's like you shouldn't be doing it if you're the goddamn president. But that's still a lot worse because it doesn't like directly affect like a person's life. But if you have somebody like Biden, who was like writing it like part of legislation that really fucked minorities like completely, like, that's way fucking worse, because like that is like their life got changed directly because of this piece of shit. The thing is just that to be in like a mind frame where you think you should be president, you're probably a piece of shit. Like, I would never in my mind, as like arrogant as sometimes I think I am, like, I would never think, look, I know better than everybody. Let me run this shit. Like, I don't think I'm smart enough to do that or know enough. Yeah. But like, those two guys both think that they do. And to me, like,
definitely Trump.
Well, I mean, Biden does apparently too because he's running.
Yeah.
I mean, and has done it like every fucking election for the past, well, other than the times when he was vice president, but he was running for president before then too.
Yeah.
So I mean, this isn't like his first time to run for president. But like, it's just to me like that mindset that you have to think that you are qualified to be the leader of the whole country, you're probably an asshole. Like you're a guy. You're trying to
got
win
some type of complex.
You're trying to win a popularity contest.
That's what it is.
Like,
You trying to more people like me than they like you, and I won.
Yeah.
That's basically what the presidency is.
Yeah, it's a talent show,
Yeah. How much?
but without talent.
What can I say that makes me
I
sound
think
good?
about it
enough?
all the time that Donald Trump really was a actor or a celebrity, and he became president. I think about it all the time.
This is something
I kind of forget.
This is not me because I be watching old episodes of Fresh Prince. That motherfucker was on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was in Home Alone.
Yeah,
He was in the second one, yeah.
yeah, and it's like
He had a Comedy Central roast.
See?
Like him and David Hasselhoff both had a fucking roast, and one of them is president.
you know what I'm
Not
saying.
Hasselhoff.
That's
unfortunately.
crazy.
I'm saying nigga was on WWE.
Yeah, I mean,
I guess you forgot
Forgot
about
about
that.
that.
Trump
he's-
used to be on
yeah.
wrestling.
I mean, he had a TV show for
Beefing
a
with Vince
long
McMahon.
time. He had Celebrity Apprentice where like Gary Busey and Brett Michaels were like competing to see who could run the best business. Like,
You know what I'm saying.
That's
like
crazy.
that dude
I'm
is now
saying.
the fucking president.
But you know
Well,
what?
Has been, but like
A lot of people don't want to speak on this. They don't want to admit this. If we want to have Obama, we want to have Trump. That's a cause
true.
and
The-
effect
The
situation.
pendulum. It's a pendulum.
It's like okay,
It's what's happened with every presidency. You
Yeah.
go from, Reagan to Clinton, or no, well, Reagan to Bush, but Bush was kind of a moderate, to Clinton, back to Bush, to Obama, to Trump. Probably, I mean, I don't know. I feel like Donald Trump will probably win again. Just because the same people, he obviously won the first time because he's president. Those same people don't, not like him anymore. like all the people that voted for him still like him.
Yeah.
Like Obama kind of lost voters in his second term because people were like, "Fuck, he really didn't do anything that he said he was going to do." So but he got lucky that he was running against Mitt Romney, who's basically a fucking saltine cracker with arms and legs. like nobody was going to vote.
a white
for that.
man said it.
Yeah, nobody was going to vote for fucking Mitt
high
Romney.
blood pressure away from death.
But that's why Obama won the second time. Is because the
There's no
Republicans.
Mitt Romney.
Mitt Romney damn near died. Mitt Romney did die.
No, that's John McCain.
Oh, okay.
That was the first one. That was 2008.
Oh yeah, John
McCain, really, if you go back and look, probably would have been a pretty damn good president. But I wasn't old enough to vote, but I still would have voted for Obama. I don't really know much about him, but
See, and
I
that's
can
why
understand
Obama,
the
A lot
importance.
of people don't understand that's why
And
Obama won.
yeah,
I'm
nobody
telling
knew
you,
that he was kind of.
I was staying in Atlanta,
he's
Georgia
kind of
at the
a
time.
Piece of shit.
That motherfucker won because he was black,
Yeah,
bro.
They wanted to shut everybody
Ain't
up.
with
Yeah.
nobody. I remember, and then I went to visit the Carolinas around that time. Them people in the Carolinas was fucking with that nigga because he was black.
Oh, yeah.
And it was
Yeah.
white people. They was like, "Oh, we gotta see a black president." They was like,
Yeah.
they was riding for
And
that
a lot
shit.
of that is white people that were like, "Fuck, we've done some shitty things. Let me go ahead and vote for Obama."
Yeah,
Like it was gonna make
and that's
up
the cause
for
and effect
any of
that we
the
got now.
shit.
Them same people. Mindset was that they had Obama, so I mean we can do Trump because I'm not doing Hillary because she lies.
Yeah.
Hillary didn't win because she was lying
Yeah.
because of them
And
emails.
people have always hated Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
People hated Hillary Clinton when she was the first lady.
People had, and then a lot of people had a lot of beef with Clinton.
Well,
So a lot of that. A lot of people don't. Not a lot of it.
A lot
but
of people
it was
hate
some.
Bill
yeah,
Clinton.
it was some unspoken word of people who did not fuck with Bill Clinton.
I mean, Bill
So
Clinton.
they automatically was on some
shit too.
fuck
Like,
he ain't
Hillary,
no
fuck
different.
anybody that got to do with their family.
Yeah.
he was a president and he was fucking around on his wife. Why would we let her in here? She stayed. It was deeper than rap. It's just a lot of people don't talk about it.
Yeah, Hillary Clinton.
So
she
it kind of
did.
made sense how we got Trump. Like
No,
it really made a lot of
It
sense how
makes
we got
perfect
Trump.
sense, which is why the whole time I was like, yeah, he's probably gonna win. Like Hillary Clinton's not gonna fucking win.
Yeah, and then
Like-
the fact that he was on TV, a lot of people you gotta look at that angle of it. The fact that he was on TV, people like, hey, I'm gonna vote for him. He was on TV.
Yeah.
It also
People that stupid. They be like, real
I believe it.
people are really like that doing. Like they
Dude,
look at like, oh, he was on TV.
that
Let me
has
vote
been
for the dude that was
that
on
has
TV.
been a thing, since Kennedy. Kennedy won because he looked good
Bill Clinton won because he was on Arsenio Hall show.
playing the
Yep.
saxophone.
People don't want to talk about that.
Yeah, but
They ran with that
But
one.
that's the first televised debate was Kennedy and Nixon in 1960. Everyone who listened to it on the radio said Richard Nixon won. Everybody who watched on TV said John F. Kennedy won. when you watch the video, Richard Nixon's sweating on his upper lip. He looks kind of nervous. Kennedy is like this young, handsome dude. So everybody that watched that shit on TV was like, fuck, I'm voting for Kennedy. Like, he's handsome, he's young. Like, Richard Nixon's this old man who's been a politician forever.
They ain't
like,
been caught up in some shit.
Well, before then, he wasn't. Before then, he hadn't really done shit. He was just like a famous... I think he was the senator from California. Before then, he worked on like the McCarthy hearings in the 50s. Like, well, he was Dwight Eisenhower's vice president.
Oh, okay.
Was Richard Nixon. And yeah, but that's so that media thing of like, if you can do well on TV, you'll be president. Like, think about John McCain was nowhere near like as good of like a television personality as Obama.
Yeah.
Like Obama can command like an audience. And
Obama was a black man.
Yeah.
He was in shape looking.
Yeah, he's a handsome, younger man.
He was articulate.
Yeah.
Knew how to handle himself well. Didn't fold under questions.
And
Obama knew how to talk. Obama knew how to talk.
Yeah, he was
Obama
got no
talk a
mess.
circle on your head.
That's what his whole job was growing up. He was a political, like, he was a campaigner. Like, a guy that would go out and try to convince you to vote for my candidate. That's what he did in Chicago. Like, his whole time throughout, like, college. And, I mean, he was in law school, too, I think. But, like, that's what he did. He was like he would do, like, door-to-door, like a salesman, kind of, but to sell a candidate. So that dude knows how to sell himself, especially. Like that guy was.
Yeah, he did. Think about it. Put the pictures out of him smoking weed. A lot of people smoke weed, so that was like, oh, I used to smoke pot.
Yeah.
Let's vote for him.
Let's vote for him. Like I say, it's all about the illusion of what's real and what's fake, and people can paint a look. People tend to forget about the only thing real is emotions.
And it was funny when they was when he became president, they dug so deep to try to prove that he's not black.
Well, Trump was the one that brought up that he was not from the U.S.
Yeah.
That he was from Kenya.
Yeah, he was from Kenya. They dug deep trying to prove that.
And then, which Obama had no reason to give his birth certificate. He should have said, fuck you, I was born in Hawaii, like, kiss my ass. But he finally did. He was like, all right, here's my goddamn birth certificate. And Trump was like, it looks fake.
But see, that's fucked up.
God damn,
that's fucked up because, see, why ain't nobody making Trump put the tax returns out?
Sure ain't.
They
proved that he was born in the U.S.
But make him put them tax returns out.
Put them tax
Make him
returns.
ain't nobody on his ass about that. They talk about it, but y'all ain't on his. If somebody was smart, they would just be like, Trump, put them tax returns out.
Yeah. See, the thing is that, like, all the people that voted for him wouldn't give a fuck that he didn't pay taxes.
They don't, because they rich.
Well, no. I'm talking about the people that voted would just be like, well, I mean, he knows business. Like, that's the shit. Yeah. That's their mentality. If they saw that he didn't pay taxes, they wouldn't give a fuck that he didn't pay taxes. But
he was on TV running the multi-billion.
Well, yeah, he's a goddamn billionaire. I'm sure he didn't pay taxes.
He's paying for money.
That's how middle America is.
But
he's against. Yeah. He's about making America great again. America was great before the niggers started to run for president. That's exactly them type of people voted for him.
Really, I mean, make America great again is just,
it's some bullshit.
Is like, what era of America was great that you're trying to bring back? Was it the pre-1863? Was it 1880 when the Klan started, or really kind of started? Was it the 1950s and 60s when you have videos of black kids getting sprayed by fire hoses? Like, what era of America is the era that was so great?
You want to know how he can make America great? Do y'all really want to know? Put that goddamn sicky stimmy check out.
Stop taxing me. Stop fucking taking an income tax. Why the fuck should I get punished for working? I think the income tax is the biggest scam ever. Like, 20% of my pay just is gone. like tax me for shit that I buy. Like, I can understand that, like sales tax.
Yeah.
Like, the more shit I buy, the more taxes I gotta pay. But, you know, whatever. You gotta have some taxes. But we shouldn't be getting punished because we have a job.
And there's some states where they don't pay taxes.
Shit, same thing when you own a house. When you own a house, you still gotta pay them taxes every year. Think about it.
$3,500 a year.
You're paying a property tax.
Property tax. Why do I need to pay you a property tax when somebody paid you for 20 years to keep?
And
it's mine. It's mine.
Why the fuck?
And if I don't pay them property tax, you gonna come take it.
Yeah. Yep. And why the fuck is it that if I make my house nice and my neighbor makes his house nice, now we have to pay more in property taxes because we made our neighborhood nicer? We should be getting tax deductions for having, like, a nice yard, putting in a swimming pool, like all the shit that makes your house become more valuable. You should be getting, like, rewarded for doing that.
Make your house less, baby.
Yeah, it does. That's
just an
unnecessary expense.
But I mean, like, You know what I mean? Like if
I know what
if
you're
it's
saying.
a nice neighborhood, you get taxed more.
Like my taxes on my house, it went up based off they built a fucking subdivision right here.
You don't live there?
I don't live there.
Shit, my taxes went up. My taxes went up based on the fact that that school is down the road, Foster,
Oh yeah.
brought the whole tax.
Yeah,
and you gotta remember,
yeah.
I don't remember. You know, I have to pay for it. So
Yeah.
the taxes went up because the fucking school's on.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, I didn't tell you how to
Never
put the school
moving to a
in.
house by a school that close.
Didn't he tell me? We've
No.
been here. We was here before the school. So
yeah.
that's what I mean. It could at least been like you said, some type of tax deduction based off this house was here before.
Yeah.
It was here
I don't
before the
think like
school.
that.
I can see if you new people who stay in a new subdivision, the new houses around the neighborhood, you put a little extra tax in there because you're moving to a house that's accessible
Right.
to a school down the road to where
Right.
you don't have to worry about transportation, et cetera, et cetera. But the fact that you raising up the price for somebody who was here before y'all even thought about this
Yeah.
school, that's fucked up.
See, that's just like anything that go wrong with this house.
That's fucked up.
Going on my taxes. I don't care
Yeah.
if I change a light bulb. It's going on there.
Yeah.
I'm getting my money back.
I mean, taxes are just such a scam. Like, I get that there's some taxes that have to be there, because otherwise we'd be living in fucking Louisiana, where as soon as you cross that border, it's like you driving on a damn dirt road
Car doing it,
interstate.
do-do-do-do-do.
Yeah. So, like, there's a certain importance to having taxes.
Yeah, I'm all for it, but I'm just
fucking income tax.
What got me into acting? You won't believe this, but I was training to be an electrical engineer,
Okay.
and on weekends I was away from home. So I was away from London, which was home. I was out in the south coast, on the south coast of England. And my friends would meet me on a Friday evening, and we'd go off, as young men would do, to have fun. And we were in a part of London called the Aldwych, and the Aldwych used to be the home of the Royal Shakespeare Company, the London home of the Royal Shakespeare Company. Their permanent home is Stratford upon Avon.
Right.
And there was a theatrical festival in Britain at that time called the World Theatre Season. And there was... I need to say this clearly, because... So my friends and I are going as young men who are 17, 18, 19, going off to drink and chase young ladies, and hopefully we're lucky. We walked past this theatre at the Aldwych, which was the London home of the Royal Shakespeare Company, and outside the theatre there were these huge billboards and photographs of stuff of black actors and performers, and we had never seen that in Britain before. I mean, I'm not saying that there weren't black performers, but we'd never seen them take over a theater. That they were the object of that evening.
Right.
And we decided we'd find out what this was. We discovered that it was called the American Negro Theater, which in time became the Negro Ensemble. And they were presenting something called Black New World, and it takes a lot to distract four young men out to have fun, to make them actually stop where they're going, go into a theater, and see what it was, which is what we did.
Right.
We paid, it was 65 cents or whatever at that time to sit up in the gods and watch this thing.
Right.
And it was the most extraordinary experience. And my three other friends and I, it completely changed how we were going to live our lives. I mean, I decided I didn't want to be an engineer after I got my first certificate. Another friend of mine decided he wanted to be a sociologist instead of a vicar or something. I mean, it was the most extraordinary thing. And we continued from that time every Friday night to go to the theater to see plays. And so that's how it really started. I told my parents about it, and my mother thought it was amusing. My father was really offended because, I mean, I'm the son of an immigrant from the Caribbean, and children of immigrants at that time in the 50s and 60s in Britain did not want to be actors. They wanted,
Right.
they had to be CPAs or doctors or that kind, or or registered nurses and
Sure.
that kind of stuff. Not actors. Where does that come from? It was never part of our experience.
Yeah, right.
However,
right.
I had my mother's support. I have to say that my father and I didn't really have anything to say to each other for at least another 15 years. It was not until he came up to the Royal Shakespeare Company in Stratford-upon-Avon, where I was a member, and he saw his son on stage, that he actually thought, my God, this boy can actually do something worthwhile. So after my friends and I saw this thing, the American Negro Theater, and we went off to it became our pilgrimage to go to the theater every Friday, and I talked to my mother. I decided I wanted to be an actor, and my father didn't want to. I left home and moved to a part of London called Hampstead, West Hampstead, which is where all the artistic people hang out in London. Right. And I decided, I was going to pursue it, so I got trained as an actor. My first job was doing children's theater, which was absolutely necessary because it was the only way to attain an equity card.
Right.
Because you couldn't become a member of Equity if you didn't have a job, and you couldn't get a job if you weren't a member of Equity. And the only way to get to be a member of Equity in Britain at that time was to do children's theater. So you do your 12 weeks of children's theater, you become a provisional member, and then you can go off to the repertory theatres, which are sort of the stock companies out in Sheffield and Manchester and Liverpool and places. And once you've achieved 40 weeks of employment, then you become a full member, and you can play in the West End of London. You can do television shows, etc., which is how I did it. And so I trained for 2.5 years. My first job was doing some children's theatre, and then I went off to Sheffield to do my I think it was my 28 or 38 other weeks with an avant-garde company called the Vanguard, where I played all sorts of roles which I wouldn't ordinarily get to play. And then in my second year, which is 1972, I became a member of the Royal Shakespeare Company. I stayed with the Royal Shakespeare Company until 1975. We were on Broadway with a show called Sherlock Holmes, and we were there for about 6 to 7 months. When that was over, I decided I can't come all the way to America and not go to California. So I said to the company, I'm going to California. I must see California. So most people went back to England and on to other plays, and I went off to California, and and from there I met people from Shakespeare Company in Lenox, Massachusetts, and all that. But I returned to the Royal Shakespeare Company after about 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, and I mean, what draws you to Shakespeare specifically? Are there certain plays that you really caught some sort of attraction to?
No. The plays are all fantastic, and they're all, they are old plays.
Right.
It's just simply you discover in the course of your growth as an actor what your métier, what you're best at. I certainly there weren't that many movies being made in Britain at that time that included non-white actors. So that was not an avenue open to me. I was not particularly a great comedian. I was neither tall nor handsome. So what the Royal Shakespeare Company showed me was that I had a facility for language. I have a skill that's I suppose I could flatter myself and say I have a classical skill. So that's how I pursued it. So in the course of it, it was something I was good at, really.
Right.
In a sense, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, do you feel that? I mean, what are some of the differences between, TV and film acting versus stage acting that you find? I mean, is one preferable to you than the other? Is one more satisfying, or something like that?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we could start with the film acting. I mean, lovely money, and then we start with television acting, lovely money too. And with the stage acting, is that God, I feel holy. God, I feel, God, I feel worthy.
Right.
It's simply. In Britain, you need to be able to have sharpened and ready to go all the tools that are required for the career that you've taken. So you're expected to be able to work on films, you're expected to be able to work on television, you're expected to be able to work on modern plays, you're expected to be able to work on classical plays. You are expected to be a fully rounded actor. Nowadays they've even added the triples, the other two threats. You're expected to be able to dance and sing, which I can't do, thank heaven. Thank God I was born at the right time. Yes, but you're simply, there are expectations from a performer. You are not allowed to specialize at all. You have to be able to do it all. And sometimes you may work for 10 years in doing simply classical plays, and then you get fed up, or you get tired, or they get fed up and tired of you, and you move on. And you need to be able to just adjust to what is required.
Yeah. Do you feel that, that certain plays, so Shakespeare specifically, that they just don't translate to TV or film? I mean, there's pretty much every Shakespeare play has been turned into a movie at one point, and it just seems like none of them ever really hit the way that they should. I mean, other than maybe Julius Caesar with Marlon Brando, that's about the only one.
Yes. Oh yes, that was an amazing. Yeah, that was an amazing film. Yeah, I think in my opinion, it seems to me that we need to. One of the things about I believe that a restoration play or a Jacobean play or Shakespeare play is about the time that it is set. We have to go to that time. We can't bring it to our time. And if we bring it to our time, a lot of the language, a lot of the expressions, and a lot of the sensibilities are foreign to us. So we have to see it. Although it's the fundamental of the language we speak, we have to take it in the time that it is set. And I think it's been very difficult for people to accept that that you have to, that those plays are about their time. They're not about your time. And if we let me give you an example. If you take a play like Gem of the Ocean by August Wilson, right? And you take that play out of context. You take that play out of the struggle of the African American moving from the South, through the Underground Railroad and all that, and the point of the ship, and you make it into something that is palatable, that is understandable, that is easy. Then you deny the historical fact, you deny the suffering, you deny the story, but most of all, you deny the heroism because you've made it accessible.
Right, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Huh.
And that's, I think I don't think it's incumbent upon every person in the world to see a Shakespeare play, but I think when you see a Shakespeare play, you should see it for what it is. It's not about us; it's about them. It's about somebody else's life, and then we begin to appreciate that they approached life differently. They were more superstitious than we are. They saw signs in the skies, etc., etc., etc.
Yeah, because that's what I mean, there was somewhat of a trend in the like kind of the mid '90s to early 2000s of taking Shakespeare plays and then trying to make them modern, like Baz Luhrmann's Romeo and Juliet with Leonardo DiCaprio. I mean, at least they kept the dialogue the same, but yeah, it just doesn't it doesn't feel the same, I guess, because they did try to make it so much modern.
Well, yes. I mean, I'm not saying that they should be museum pieces.
Right.
That's the last I would want for those plays. But one needs to see them in context. I mean, I think with West Side Story and the way they presented the Romeo and Juliet story, that was an eye-opener at that time. But to really understand it, you needed to know the play. You needed to see the play.
Yeah.
If you understand what...
No, that's true. Yeah, I hadn't really thought about... I mean, West Side Story is a pretty good example of it actually working. But still, yeah, exactly. You need to actually have some frame of reference for, the source material for it.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. And so how long into acting was it before you actually started to see, some success, like as far as landing the role in Fresh Prince and things like that?
Oh, well, that was, what was that? That was 1990. So I had been an actor, well, I started in 1970. So I'd been an actor for 20 years. I'd been a member of the Royal Shakespeare Company. I'd played on Broadway. I'd worked with the Shakespeare Company in Lenox, Massachusetts. I'd worked with the Folger Shakespeare Company in Washington, D.C. I'd worked with a theater company in Zimbabwe. And I had also worked with Athol Fugard with the South African Theatre Company, and in South Africa and in Great Britain. So I mean, I had a fully comprehensive theatrical career. But the idea of television success, although one dreams of it, I mean, it was never a reality. I never stopped what I was doing, so I could, so I could be in a television show or anything like that. Although I did many television shows in Britain as well. I suppose it's an idea whose time had come, really. I had nothing to do with it. In fact, when the Fresh Prince arrived, I was working on the first London production of August Wilson's Joe Turner's Come and Gone, directed by Claude Purdy, God rest his soul. In London. And they had sent this. Somebody had seen me, and they'd sent the script, and I said, would he like to do this, audition for this role and stuff like that. And so it's a buyer's market, and somebody decided that perhaps we ought to buy this fella. We'll see.
Yeah.
Now I seen that you pretty much did the show from the beginning to the end. A lot of people always, notice this would happen. But how did you feel about the whole Aunt Viv switching out? Like, I know you went through it, you lived through it, but looking back at it now, like, how do you feel like how the fans feel? Like, a lot of people was just confused. Like, how did she go from so dark to so bright? How did that make you feel?
Oh, you have to understand that because when I started the Fresh Prince, I had been an actor for over 20 years, So there was I had it drilled into me that there's never a show that opens that will not close. So every contract has an end date to it. What I can say, and I can say honestly and truthfully, is that I enjoyed every moment of it, and I had no expectations beyond what it is that I was doing. I mean, I did not dream of becoming, I don't know, the next spin-off or et cetera, et cetera. I simply loved what I was doing, and it was a fantastic role. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. I had a lot of power without much responsibility. It was excellent.
Yeah, and as someone who is a classically trained actor, did you feel a certain, I guess kind of an obligation or maybe just a feeling of wanting to be somewhat of a mentor to Will Smith, who hadn't really done any acting, before then?
Oh, certainly not. Oh, God, no. I think that would be unbelievably presumptuous. Will was employed as a professional, and what he had to do was to do the job professionally, which he did, beyond people's expectations, beyond what it is people thought of him, and it was not. I was not employed to educate or to presume on Will's talent. It was that my job was to be within his company and to admire, to observe and to contribute. And if Will needed something, he would ask. And then you'd say, well, perhaps maybe you ought to look at it, try looking at it this way. But it was not I was not employed to educate, nor was it, would I be that presumptuous to say, I know better than you. I directed a couple of plays while I was working on the show, at the Valley College in Sherman Oaks. And, I needed a subwoofer and various other things, and I sort of simply said, Will, can you make some suggestions? I need a subwoofer because I can't get the sound I need for the Ghost, etc. I said, I'll buy you one. So, so the next day, they sent, Will sent a subwoofer to our rehearsals, and we had what we needed. Now, it's that kind of respect and that kind of admiration, that I have for the man. If the man ever asked me about something, I would give my fair and honest opinion, but I never presumed that it was up to me to educate him or to tell him what was right and what was wrong, because I think that, that's absolutely presumptuous belief.
Well, true. Yeah, do you feel, so whenever you're on a show that, well, I guess it was on for 6 years, right? 90 to 96, yes. I think. Yeah. Do you develop a bond with the cast that's almost like a family? And is it kind of bittersweet or like heartbreaking whenever it's over?
Yes. That happens in spite of yourself, because you spend more time with them than you do with your own family over the 6 years. And one of the things we did was we'd go off on the festival vacations together. We do Christmas in Hawaii or somewhere like that. Right. So it was extraordinary. But what it led to was an understanding of each other. It's like if I shouldn't do this because James, this is gonna make James really cross. I shouldn't do this because Will doesn't like that, or I shouldn't do this because Alfonso gets really cross with that kind of stuff. Right. You begin to gauge what it is you do with consideration for the other person, because you expect them to behave the same way towards you. So you have your kind of little understanding and compassionate kind of stuff. But a hell of a lot of fun. It wasn't dull. It was just magic. As I said before, there was not one moment at work that I wished I was somewhere else. It was great fun. Yeah. And of course, like everything else, it has those moments when you go, oh my God, where did that come from? Why are we dealing with this at the moment? Yeah. Where did this come from? What are we going to do about this section? But mostly, it was fun. And again, I think we were lucky in the sense that, as you know, nothing succeeds like success.
Yeah, right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, I have to, kind of bring it up, but, James Avery as Uncle Phil is basically everyone's dad. I mean, probably in my case, probably more of a dad than my own in some ways. And, I mean, how was working with James Avery? I mean, because he seems like such a commanding...
James and I were very, very close friends, because when I came to meet... to do, well, I suppose, I mean, and now I can say meet, but then it was an audition. When I came, they flew me out from London to come to audition, and James was the first person that I met, because we were out at NBC Burbank, and we were standing outside, and I smoked at the time, and he smoked, so I went out to have a cigarette, but I rolled my own. I didn't go for the ready-made stuff. So I'm standing out there rolling a cigarette, and there's this huge guy smoking, I don't know, Marlboro or something, out there, and he says, hi, and I said, hello, and he says, oh, yeah, you're British. I said, well, I suppose I am, yeah. And he said, so what are you doing here? I said, they flew me in to audition for this thing. He said, well, they flew you in from Britain? I said, yeah, they flew you in? Yes, they flew me in from Britain. I arrived last night, and I'm going to meet the people today. I'm just having a cigarette to calm my nerves. He said, they flew you in? So, oh my God, that's great. So what kind of acting do you do? So I said, well, I've done you name it, I've done it. I've done the classical plays, I've done the modern plays. I was working on an August Wilson play, and that just before I came here, that was my last job and stuff. And so we started talking, and he said, have you ever worked with Athol Fugard? And I said, yes, I did Master Harold and the Boys at the Royal National Theatre in London, directed by Athol, and he'd done Sizwe Bands. And all of a sudden, we had this rapport. And we became very close friends. I mean, we talked about theatre. He, sometimes there were things I didn't understand. I said, James, what do you think? Yeah, and sadly... And I'm not saying this to blow my own trumpet, but
sure.
It was I was with him when he had that awful moment where he had to be taken to hospital, because which led to his demise. It was I that called his wife, and we took him to the hospital and everything like that. So he was one of the most wonderful thing about James is that James is a very gentle, a very well informed man. I mean, he would astonish me sometimes. I think, my God, how did you remember that? How did you know this? I mean, he was just he was a phenomenon. Really, in size and in intellect. I loved him. He was he was a brother. He was my big brother. It was just wonderful.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I mean, when you look back on, the impact that Fresh Prince has had, do you think that there's really anything like that happening now? Because it seems like sitcoms have nowhere near the depth that they used to, at least in the 90s. I mean, Fresh Prince really dealt with, obviously it's a comedy, but it dealt with some pretty heavy issues. Childhood abandonment.
You see, it leads us back to our conversation about Shakespeare. Have to take Fresh Prince within its time, and its time is the Jeffersons, the Cosby Show, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and it is the pinnacle of that. It's the apex of that graph, that triangle, that incline. It's astonishing. I have been to many countries in this world, white countries, black countries, etc., etc. I've been walking down a street in Istanbul, in Turkey, where somebody walks across the road, comes over to me and touches my face and goes, Jeffrey. Doesn't speak English. I've been in places like Malawi in Africa, where people just go mad. Jeffrey's here. I was playing King in in the grounds of Hamlet's Castle in Denmark in 2015, I think, 2015-16. And at the end of the show, all these these rather posh Danish people came over to say how lovely it was, etc., etc. And but most of the people were saying, Jeffrey, tell me about Jeffrey. My God, Jeffrey. Wherever I go and wherever we continue to go in the world, I mean, it is a phenomenon beyond understanding. It is a phenomenon.
Yeah, it's very timeless, because I recently just rewatched the entire series. I don't know how many times I've seen it, multiple times, but it hasn't aged. Apart from fashion maybe or something like that, but the topics haven't aged. Childhood abandonment is such a big topic on the show that hasn't gone away. It seems it's just as important now, if not more, than it was then.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to find shows that's really family oriented now. Everything's really dramatized with scandals and all this stuff. And Fresh Prince didn't really have none of that going on.
Exactly, yeah, and it's the way it's not precious about it. Yeah. It's just this is life. I can't think of another word, but I don't mean casual, but it is not precious. It's not saying we now have a message. This is the message.
Right.
It just flows. It's superb. Just so clever. So smart.
Yeah. I see that they're coming out. They're thinking about Will has just said he wants to do a reboot of the Fresh Prince. How do you feel about that?
Oh, I've been reading that. People have been sending me texts and stuff about it. I don't know. I don't know how. I heard that. What was it they said? Something they're going to make it dramatic.
Yes, that's what I heard too.
Yeah. I don't know. I have to say that in about 2 weeks' time, I'm traveling. If lockdown and social distancing and all the other stuff that we have to put up with these days allows it, I will be in Los Angeles, and maybe I will get to talk to Will, and I will get to ask. Get it from the horse's mouth. But it's what is interesting about it, and without thinking, oh my God, I hope I get my role. I hope I don't lose my role. I hope I get a job. Without all that kind of stuff that actors suffer, it's like I kind of think that it's pretty flattering to think, my God, they want to reboot it. Wow. That's something, boy.
Yeah, that's what, whenever I was reading about it and they said that, they were going to try to make it a drama, it kind of made sense, because really, if you look at the show, if you took out the comedic writing, it is a drama. Then
on.
But you must remember that it is how do I put it? The deep message of the show, it creeps up on you.
Yes.
It doesn't hit you on the head. It creeps up on you. Oh heavens, yes. I had that problem with my dad. Yes, I had that problem at school. Rather than saying, this is a show about messages,
Yeah.
And
right.
I'm sure that once. The Will and the powers that be have a very clear idea of what they want from it. But it will be interesting to see.
Yeah, I think so too. I hope it's good, and I imagine it would be. It is a great, just the storyline in general seems like it could translate to a drama really well. But, I think, do you think that social media has played a huge part in kind of keeping Fresh Prince relevant? Because you really can't go on social media without someone putting some scene from Fresh Prince saying, look, they're predicting, they're talking about this, 25 years ago, it's still happening, like police, race relations. Fresh Prince was dealing with that 25 years ago.
It is true there's no doubt about it that social media has kept the Fresh Prince fresh. There's no doubt about that. And it seems to me that we have somehow managed to transcend time. You know, we continue. Although there are, you know, the ladies don't have shoulder pads anymore, but the sentiments are still the same. You know, and it's flattering, and I tell you, oh God, where was I? Where was I this last year? Last year I was in St. Lucia, then I was somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
I was somewhere in Europe somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And again, you know, it was like people going, you know, this is the guy that's in the Fresh Prince. This is the guy that's in the Fresh Prince. And it's like, heavens, you know, I'm still the guy in the Fresh Prince. The Fresh Prince still matters to people. You know? And sometimes, you know, I kind of go, I'm sorry, it's the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. It's not the
Right. Yeah.
Just kind of, you know, trying to be pompous and stuff. And I'm thinking, who the hell do you think you are, man?
I have one question.
But it's astonishing. It's lovely. I mean, and it's another one of those situations where, if you were to ask me what it is that you did, Joseph, to make you, you know, to get you on this show, I don't know. I did nothing. All I did was do what I tried to, what it is that I thought I wanted to do was to act in plays. I wanted to be an actor, and that's all. And it's like, it's grace. It's like, it's sometimes I think it's a blessing that I don't deserve, but it's like, it's extraordinary. It is simply, it's simply a gift from above. Yeah. And I don't mean the money, and because there ain't much of that, and I don't mean the notoriety. I mean the fact that, you know, when somebody stops me on the road in whatever country I am in, it's that there is a kind of, I'm making it sound precious and pompous, but there's a kind of, it's like I'll say it. It's like they're honored to meet me, and it's the most extraordinary thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that it makes sense. I mean, if you think about just the age group that most people, like, let's say myself and really all of us included, I mean, we all like grew up with that show, so it's like a family, sort of like a family away from our family, and we learned more lessons from that show than a lot of us did get from our own family. Like, I mean, I can speak for myself on that for sure. Like, I learned more from Fresh Prince than I did from, you know, my own parents.
For real.
Really, I mean, yeah.
Grew up watching that. But I did want to throw this out here. A lot of people know you from Fresh Prince, but I mean, I did a little bit of research and I seen that you played on a show that's very popular that has a strong following called Doctor Who. How did you feel about when you did that?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did, Doctor Who. Sometimes I think it's you know, a lot of people saying that, you know, it was racist and all that, but that, you know, that's not my job. I don't care about that. I was almost the kind of the Doctor's. I mean, his confessor, I suppose. He'd stop and we'd talk about, you know, life, the way things were. It gave it a kind of grounded and gave it a kind of reality. And it's strange that's another one, and that I did. How old was I then? That was about 1980. That was before I played Othello, so that was about 1982, 83. Yeah, and it, you know, it comes up all the time. It continues. It's like you know, when you're playing in the theater, people say to you, you know, you have to do it to the best of your ability because you don't know who's watching.
True.
Yes.
True.
Yes.
TruChat.
And this Doctor Who thing and the Fresh Prince is the same thing. You don't know who has been watching this show, man. You have to do it to the best of your ability.
Very true.
Yes.
Very true.
I have a question. Well, they say like in the media that Janet was like really problematic on the set, and that's kind of true. Like saying like that's the reason why she was kind of like put off the show because her and Will had some differences. Is that true or no? Did that really happen?
Well, the only way I can answer that is to say that in my opinion and in my observations, the show is called The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, starring Will Smith, not Aunt Viv from Bel-Air, starring Janet Hubert Wood, which was the name at the time. Janet Hugh Belton, which was the name at the time. You asked me earlier how did we get close? We were very, very close. We cared about each other. We confided in each other. Because we'd never been on a television show before, not least a successful one. Sure. I think the differences between Janet and Will is I can't comment on gossip. Sure. But all I can say is from what I observed was that it was very difficult for It was very difficult for Janet to accept Will's versatility.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, sure.
That's understandable.
Yeah.
That's understandable.
It makes sense.
I definitely get it.
And and the show was called The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, starring Will Smith. Or Will Smith as The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air,
right?
With Janet and James, etc.
Sure.
Tatiana, Alfonso, and Karen, and me.
Yeah.
And it was simply that. But I think one of the saddest part of it is that Janet did all the hard work the first 2 years, although we were flying high, but she was one of the establishing characters in the show, and she somehow allowed it to slip through her fingers, and that is the sad part.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Did all the grunt work, and then she allowed it to slip through her fingers. Yeah.
Yeah, me personally, I don't think it was just more of a beef as like the internet made. I think it was just a misunderstanding, honestly.
Yeah. The media tends to heighten everything.
The media tends to instigate things and I mean, that's kind of where we're coming in at. We want to get the the source of it. But you pretty much you wrap that up for us, and a lot of people are wondering that.
You want to sell papers, etc., etc.
Yeah.
But yes, it was very sad for all of us.
Sure.
But again, you have to remember that although we were very public with each other, we all had our own private needs and desires. So I can only tell you what the little I know. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I see that you guys, y'all tend to get together. It always seems like it's a lot of love and laughter in the room when everybody gets together. Do y'all think that maybe y'all could just try to get her to get there too? Because it seems like she's never there. So.
Well, we'd love to share it with her. Absolutely.
Sure.
I don't know who does the invitations and stuff, or whether she would want to come. That's the other thing. But yes, because she's made a contribution.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
and to most of us, that is the Aunt Viv.
Yeah.
I don't want to take anything away from Daphne Maxwell Reid, but that that's just anytime that there's an original, that's always the person that you're going to relate as that character.
Yes, and you must understand, how difficult it must have been for Daphne as well, to establish herself as that new character when a lot of a majority of the audience were thinking of somebody else, whenever
Right.
and it took her, but she, her tenacity and her versatility, afforded her the patience to overcome that, and that in itself is something that ought to be applauded too.
True
Yes,
shit.
yes.
Yes,
definitely.
she did as good as the original Aunt Viv. Like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was one of them shows that I couldn't go to sleep without watching pretty much.
Still can't. I'm still watching it to this
can't.
day. Still watching it. It's a blessing to be able to speak with you, man. I never thought in
Yeah.
my whole life of being a kid up until now that I ever would talk to you, man. So I just, like I said, I want to extend that blessing to just extend that to let you know that I feel blessed.
Yes.
I'm on the board and the Council of Shakespeare's Globe in London, and I do act there every now and then. The last thing I did there was Derek Walcott's epic poem Umaros, but just before that, I was while we were touring King Lear, we'd come back and play in London for 2 weeks, and whenever we did a matinee of King Lear, I'd come on, sort of attend my lords of Burgundy and whatever, and some kid would go, "Oh, look, it's Jeffrey! Oh, Jeffrey! What's up?" I'm playing the King of England, and the kid goes, "Jeffrey." And then when you look at the opposite of that, it's really great, because that little black kid that's standing, whose school paid £5 for him to stand and watch this on a sunny afternoon is thinking, "Oh my God, I could be a Shakespearean actor. I can do that. That's something. Yeah, that's something I can do." And it's wonderful. People ask me, what has the Fresh Prince done for you? I mean, the Fresh Prince has validated my whole classical career. I mean, it's made it important, and it's really, you can't buy that.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, yeah, that's definitely true. I mean, we're at the kind of the cutoff mark, so I do just want to, give you a chance if you do have anything going on that you'd like to promote, anything in the future. I don't know how filming is working now, but probably there may be some movies coming out in 3 or 4 years. I don't know, but.
Oh, please God, yes. I've got there's a show called Ratched, as in Ratched, the nurse from
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Yeah, right.
I think that starts in September sometime, either on Netflix or on Fox. So I'm in that.
Okay.
I play the Shakespearean actor, which poetic, I suppose.
Yeah.
And then I have a Mexican film called The Exorcism of God. And that should open sometime, either at the end of the year or the beginning of 2021.
Okay.
And I start in October directing some students at the Royal Central School of Speech and Drama in London. And I'm kind of slowing down a bit now, because it was my birthday yesterday, the 14th of August, and I'm told that I'm becoming an ancestor, so I better watch my.
No. Happy birthday.
Happy belated birthday.
Thank you very much. Yes, and I did an indie film called what's it called? Good Morning with the Cops, and that's we finished that during lockdown about 3 or 4 weeks ago, but that won't be ready till at least the spring next year.
And are you doing the Audible the Neil Gaiman book Sandman?
Yes, I did. Yes. I've done a couple of those. I've done what was it? Oh my God! I did the folk tale, and I did another one. Yes, I do. I'm very flattered that Neil Gaiman wants me to be in his stuff. Yeah, I mean, I think he's such a talent. Yeah.
I'm a huge Neil Gaiman fan, and I saw that and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot that you know, I'd read that book
The
a million
nasty
times.
stories
But
was that whole gamut of Caribbean kind of folk tales and stuff.
Yeah.
So I did those, and I did another one, which I can't remember at the moment.
sure,
Yeah. But yeah, he does. God bless him. Every now and then comes in, you know, I want you to come and be in my thing. Which is
that's
very nice.
All right. Yeah. Well, I mean, we just want to thank you for your time. This was really an honor. I mean, like I said, we're all such big fans since childhood, and
I feel like I'm talking to one of the GOATs.
Oh, one of the greatest of all time. Yeah.
Cody and Joe, I mean, guys, there's nothing more wonderful than talking about yourself, and you guys have given me the opportunity, but most of all, you have been interested in what I have to say, and for that I thank you. Thanks for the opportunity.
Yeah. Well, it's no problem, and yeah.
All right, we definitely appreciate you. I did want to take a moment to introduce DP. He came in a little bit late, so he didn't get to really speak with you, but we do have DP here as well.
Yes, it was really an honor to talk to you, Joseph. I really enjoyed this. I've been waiting on this all day.
Oh, man, thank you.
Yes, sir, man. Like I said, I appreciate it.
Did you want to ask me something?
Oh, no, I read.
Nah, he had jumped in during the interview. I just was letting you know that, he was here too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But like I say, I'm kind of starstruck because, like I say, I just remember being a little kid, seeing you on TV, man, and it's just, it's real deal, man. I appreciate you giving us that blessing, man, in that time.
Man, there's the thing about a prophet is not without honor except in his own country. For me, it's like, when my people take pride in me, I mean, you can't buy that shit. I mean, that's just the thing. And you guys have made me special. You made me proud, and I thank you for it.
Thank you.
Thank you so
thank you,
much,
sir, for real. And I wish you nothing but the best, man. Hopefully, we get to talk to you again, man.
Tell her stop playing with me. Now talk about money, then please stay away from me. I see demons, somebody please pray for me. I recline in my chair and wait patiently. Tell her stop playing with me. Yeah. Tell her stop playing with me. Yeah.